investigators will help catch 3 men involved in a home invasion. It happened this afternoon at a home on Kingsmount Court. Police say the men broke into the home and then drove away in a silver Toyota Corolla with Ohio tags. Someone was in the house at the time, and police have not said if that person was harmed during the robbery. A member of the U.S. Army's 82nd Airborne is facing charges for seriously injuring an infant. Hope County deputies arrested and charged Richard Wing II of Aberdeen with felony child abuse. According to the sheriff's office, an infant was brought to First Health Hope campus on March 24th with injuries that, quote, did not appear to be accidental. Hospital officials reported the injuries to the sheriff.
The family of a father and son murdered in Durham are hoping a cash reward will lead to a killer. Tonight, the governor's office is offering $5,000.
Dwayne Greer and his son Dwayne Jr. were murdered in their home on June 10th from gunshots to the head. CBS North Carolina's Robert Richardson is live at the Durham County Sheriff's Office. And Robert, why do investigators believe this reward can help crack the case?
Well, deputies say that they've gotten some small tips here and there on occasion that has given them a little bit of info, but nothing that's led them to a suspect yet. When I talked with Dwayne Greer Sr.'s sister this afternoon, she told me that right now the family feels pretty helpless.
Money sometimes is what unlocks that floodgate of information.
The captain of Durham County's Criminal Investigation Division says a cash reward can be a huge tool in getting witnesses to come forward, and investigators are desperate to get a lead in the killings of Dwayne Greer and his 18-year-old son, Dwayne Jr.
Right now, we feel like we're close, and it's just, I can't get into the specifics, but we just need that one person to come forward. If $5,000 to do it, that's what we'll take.
Dwayne Sr.'s sister says she's begging the community to help. A neighbor, somebody knows something, anything that can help investigators, please have mercy. Give us some information, she told me over the phone Friday afternoon. It was a neighbor who called 911 after going to this small house to check on the Greers. The person looked through the window and saw 2 bodies on the floor.
I've got 2 men that are like passed out or something. We don't know what's wrong.
It's a very hot day. Very bloody crime, very violent.
Harris says this crime was so heinous, his team asked the governor to issue a reward. Greer's sister says, I think that's just a beautiful, gracious thing that they have done. I'm very grateful and humbled that they would offer some reward money. Investigators want to remind people providing tips that their identities will be kept confidential.
We don't care where it comes from or what name they use. We just want the information from the public.
And Durham investigators are also looking for leads in another shooting that happened earlier this year, and they've asked the governor's office to consider issuing a reward in that case as well. 72-year-old Dorothy Holloway was shot in both legs, had to have one of them amputated following a drive-by shooting on Forrester Street back in February. Reporting live in Durham at the sheriff's office, Robert Richardson, CBS.
Information tonight, case closed. It was one of the most gruesome crimes ever in our area. 4 women murdered during a Delhi Township robbery 46 years ago. Now the last remaining killer is also dead tonight. But not on your side's Tom McKee explains why some detectives aren't quite ready to let the investigation go.
The Cabinet Supreme Savings and Loan stood on this Delhi Township lot for many years. It's long gone now, but what happened there on September 24th, 1969 will never be forgotten, especially for one retired Delhi Township police officer.
Robert Chetwood patrolled the township for 27 years and has been retired since 1995. But he says he can't forget what happened at Cabinet Savings and Loan.
There's always that one incident that sticks out in your mind, and this was one for me that's still in my mind today.
Chetwood was one of the first officers on the scene. He knew the vault held 4 women dead of gunshot wounds. Lillian DeWald was a teller. Sisters Luella and Henrietta Spitzel plus Helen Hubner were customers.
I knew that this had to be something I never want to see again in my life. It was a horrific sight, and it was enough to affect your life forever.
A trio of robbers thought the S&L had lots of money, but they only got $275 and opened fire on the women as they left.
They said they wanted no witnesses, so they figured if they shot them, there'd be no witnesses. However, we did have numerous witnesses.
No Witnesses is the name of a book on the crime, written by reporter Kate March and former Delhi Township Police Chief Howard Macon. Watterson Johnson was arrested in New Mexico 4 days after the crime. He was with John Levi Lee at the time. Both men died years ago. Raymond Casa was caught shortly after the murders. He recently died in prison.
I was happy. I was just glad that he's gone. He should have died the electric chair numerous years ago, but the Supreme Court overturned that years ago.
Chetwood says he feels the case is now closed, and he hopes the families of the victims feel the same way too and are at peace. Tom McKean, 9 on your side, Delhi Township.
Right now, and the breaking news we're following literally as the news is coming into the newsroom. Reading schools have been closed now, and it's because of a threat to the school on homecoming day, and it's another clown threat.
Here we go. TJ Parker already covering one clown threat in Coleraine, now to another one. TJ, you just talked with police.
Yeah, guys, I just got off the phone with Reading police who say that they received a threat and that the superintendent there in Reading decided to close all schools today because they believe that this was enough of a threat to close schools. And yes, again, this is another creepy clown threat. We're here in Coleraine Township this morning doing a story about a junior high student that was arrested for making a threat at Coleraine High School, and we believe that that student will be in court this morning. We're working to get more information on how serious this threat is, or what exactly the threat is, but again, Reading schools are closed for today. Reading police are expecting, we're expecting to hear from Reading police here probably pretty shortly. They told me that they're putting a release together to send to us to give us some more information on that threat. But again, Reading schools closed today because of a creepy clown threat, and I think Evan and you all mentioned earlier that this is homecoming night, so we don't know the details on if that's still going to go on, but assuming if the schools are closed today, that is also off. But of course, we'll be on top of this and bring you updates when those become available. But for now, we'll send it back to you guys.
TJ, thanks. And of course, TJ just earlier this week covered Gallatin County had half the students out because of these creepy clown threats online. So this is affecting districts across the area. We'll keep you posted.
And now we're going to go to Lethbridge, where we're joined by Dr. Anthony James Hall, editor-in-chief at the American Herald Tribune. Hello, Professor Hall, and thanks for joining us here on Press TV's Top 5 once again. Why doesn't Tel Aviv allow for inspection and sign up for the NPT? And why are its Western allies, I should say, not more critical of Tel Aviv conforming to the same standards as everyone else, as mostly everyone else?
Yes, of course. You could say that Israel is a kind of outlaw state when it comes to this matter. The Non-Proliferation Treaty, for instance, Israel doesn't even admit, not only is it not a member of that treaty, but it doesn't even admit to this day that it has nuclear weapons. But we know from Vanunu and a great deal of information out there that, of course, they have hundreds of nuclear weapons, completely unregulated. They're using these nuclear weapons, for instance, to put in submarines that they get from Germany, which doesn't really have its own constitution because of the outcome of World War II. And these nuclear weapons go and are parked off the shore in these Israeli submarines with nuclear weapons are parked off the shore of Iran. There's the Samson option, of course, which is, well, Israel sort of holds the world hostage and says, if we're going down, we take the whole world with us. And of course, there's this enormous double standard, which Reza Najafi points out in Vienna at the IAEA, that of course there's Iran expected and actually going along with the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, doesn't have nuclear weapons, and there's the state of Israel. Or the entity, the Israeli entity, as I think you prefer to say. You corrected me on that one point. There is Israel with this situation, Dimona. I first learned of Dimona from Muammar Gaddafi in a speech he gave. And, you know, some think that one person who really didn't want Israel to get nuclear weapons is John F. Kennedy. And it was Gaddafi's view that this might have had something to do with the fact that John F. Kennedy was offed. He was assassinated. There were a number of scenarios that were sort of converged in why powerful interests wanted to get rid of the U.S. president. So this Israeli plan, of course, you know, what secret weapons are there? This does indeed seriously threaten the peace and security of the world. And it's high time that there be equity. Of course, look what happened to Libya. Look what happened to Iraq. Look what happened to Syria. It's almost like the message is there. If you don't have nuclear weapons, especially if you're an Arab country, you're a sitting duck. So that's very, very influential in the proliferation of nuclear weapons. North Korea doesn't get invaded. And
thank you.
There it is.
You
okay,
actually answered my second question, too, so I'm going to go ahead and thank you and cut it short there. Thank you, Professor Anthony James Hall, once again, for your input here on Press TV. Editor-in-Chief of American Herald Tribune joining us out of Leicester.